Hey, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I restored this 89 ZX7, and we'll do that in less than an hour. And I got to be honest with you, some of this is all recycled video content. I've taken basically 10-15 hours of all of the series of that restoration and condensed it down into about an hour. And the reason I've done that, two reasons. The first being it's summer. I'm crazy busy on the farm. I'm also building a house with my son, and I don't get that much time in the shop, so I have to find creative ways of keeping content available. And the second reason is I did the same thing a couple of weeks ago with the GSXR 750 restoration, the Skull Bandit, that one right there. And to my surprise, it was the most popular video that I've ever done in the 2.5 years I've been almost 3 years that I've been doing this. I think I got 5,000 some odd views in the first few days, and I've never gotten that kind of response in any video I've ever done before. So I thought I'd give it a go with this one as well, and it gives you some more content to go at. And I still haven't found another project bike for this this coming winter, so that search has got to start again soon. So stay tuned, enjoy the video. He said it was supposed to run, although he never had it running. So he said he did try to start it once. He put a good battery on it, but he said it wouldn't even turn over. He was getting no crank when he pushed the button. So from what I know, this has been sitting for a long time since it ran. 10 years, 15 years, a long time. It's not uncommon for piston rings to stick on bikes that have been sitting for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of awful stuff on this bike aside from the color and the polished frame and the polished swing arm and the polished wheels and the polished forks. Somebody went crazy with the polish. These fairing brackets are upside down. This whole underside has got a section of rubber mat, and nothing is bolted down. I don't know if you can see in here. It's very rusty. All right, let's start taking this thing apart. All right, so far there's nothing unusual under here really. It's just dirty and dusty. And it's nice the coolant bottle is in really nice shape, because those things are getting hard to find. All right, so for giggles, let's just put a boost pack on it. First of all, let's see if we have any life in this thing at all. I'm not getting any dash lights, so everything is completely dead. So it's time to start checking some fuses, I guess. There's the main fuse. That would be the reason that there's no power. Okay, new fuse in. Let's see if anything happens here. Power on. Ah, we have dash lights. Oh, look at that. Well, that's a good start. All right, so while we're disassembling, let's take a look at these fairings. From the outside, they actually look pretty darn good. From the inside, they look pretty darn bad. So you can see the repair to that lug. Someone's taken a lot of time to get the outside looking quite good. But it looks like it's just a whole whack of epoxy on the inside. The other one is the same. Pretty bad. This is the same sort of deal. This has got repairs front mounting lug missing, and epoxy kind of here and there. I have spares of these too. So yeah, missing mounting lug, fiberglass and epoxy and whatnot. So the substitute for the inner fender, it's just a piece of rubber that's been glued and bolted down. It's somebody got rid of the tail, rear tail fender, the rear mudguard. That's gone. However, I did just buy off eBay a genuine rear fender and a very rare 89 hugger. So yes, my stupidity continues, spending money on a bike that I haven't got running yet. So yeah, one way or the other, I guess I'm committed. Small things like, you know, this, yeah, I showed you, this is on upside down, the wrong way around. And just to make sure that it fits real good, somebody has beaten it to death with a hammer to get that into the position where it'll actually take, you know, a nut and bolt of some sort. So the carb slides generally feel okay. This one was sticking before, and now it's kind of freed up. So the fairing stay is off, and again, I'm amazed that somebody would actually pay to have something like this chromed at some point. So now that's all going to have to be sandblasted and epoxied in order to be able to accept paint in the future. All right, we're going for it. We're going to give her a little shot of fuel here. Just to see if it'll pop off. Power on. '89 hugger. Right on. Yeah, these are not easy to find, and they're in pretty nice shape too. So thanks to Chris in the UK for making those available for me to buy. Okay, so I've started treating the rear fender and the hugger with the rubber care. This is Clean Flow Holistic Total Rubber Care. It does a good job. I've used this many times. It tends to kind of penetrate and soak into the plastic pretty well, and does a good job kind of restoring the nice black color that these are supposed to be. Okay, so a little bit of help from some rubber grease and some silicone spray. Carbs went back on quite easily. Those rubbers are certainly not the worst that I've ever encountered. The other thing that I've done is I've disconnected the fuel pump from the harness, because I don't want the fuel pump running. If the fuel pump actually happens to work, which I haven't really tested yet, because I'm not pulling fuel from a tank and it's not going through the pump because there was all kinds of crap in there. Let's see if my starter switch will work. Choke on. See what we get for cylinder number 1. Throttle open. Well, that's 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. So the acceptable range is 139 to 200 and 213. So I would say at 190 psi, that's just fine. All right, so number 2 again. What's going on there? And no compression there. That doesn't make sense. $180. Here's number 4. That's about 183. And we're back to number 2. Let's see what happens this time. Nothing really. What I am going to do is chuck a bit of oil in that cylinder and see if that changes the compression or not. All right, so that's what we got in the cylinder 2 with a bit of oil in there. All right, so I just fed through this tube here some penetrating oil, and so I'm going to let that sit for the day, and I'll crank it over occasionally. And then I think the other thing I'm going to put in there is a little bit of diesel. Got lots of it here on the farm. And if I get a chance to get up to the city in the next day or so, maybe I'll see if I can find some Marvel mystery oil. All right, so after it's going to sit for a day with the penetrating oil, as I said, I'm going to crank it over a few times here and there just to move that penetrant around. But then I'm going to shift on to, this is seafoam. You can't really see the label because I got the little straws taped onto it here. Well, that's a whole lot more pressure than was there originally. Just to be clear, when I did that compression test and it got up to like 230 something, 240, all of the fluid that I could get out of here, I did jettison that through this plug hole before I did that test because I didn't want any sort of hydraulic locking going on. So I just threw some shop towel over it and I kept cranking it until it was coming out clean, basically no more stuff spraying out of the cylinder, and then I redid the test. So all right, we got it running for a little bit. Choke doesn't want to stay on, but I just want to make sure I can just burn off any of that penetrating oil. All right, so a moment of truth. This is after some soaking in that cylinder with penetrants and seafoam and blah, blah, blah. And then I ran it to burn off any potential residual oil there so I don't get any false readings. Bottle open. $170. So basically what I'm going to do, you can apply this in different ways. I think I've shown it before. You can do kind of the drip and drop method, which I'll try to demonstrate for you. So this is the mold I made. You can kind of see how that looks there. That's the mold I cast off here previously. So the drip and drop is really, you just drip 1 drop of the plastics liquid into the powder, and then you immediately pick it up, and then you squeeze the bottle and you drop it into the mold. Now that's kind of a good method if you're doing like a crack repair or whatnot. You need to really control how much stuff you're going to put in, but in this case that takes too long. So what I like to do is just use a screwdriver and spoon the powder in layer at a time, put the liquid in until it's soaked up all the powder. That, and then scoop some more powder in. I do that until my mold is full. Right, so there they are, extracted from the mold. So little rough cast at this point, but by and large pretty darn good. All right, here we go. I've got these things placed where I want them, so I'm going to use the method where I just kind of drip the stuff into the powder here and pick up the drop. So here's the other thing I noticed. As you get into a bike more and more and you learn about them, you spot things. So wrong chain guard. The chain guard is supposed to be a little aluminum. There's a rear section that fits on here, and these ears have broken off. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way of... Yeah, so it does appear that there is supposed to be another mounting tab right here. There's one there, and then there's like a metal guard or shield that fits in here that's obviously missing along with the rear one. And the surprises just keep on coming. So this is what was keeping the infill panel on here. It's like, golly, it's supposed to look like that. So on this lower radiator hose, there was actually 2 gear clamps or Jubilee clips if you're from the UK. I don't know if you can tell from this angle or not, but that lower fitting is pretty badly kind of flattened out. And this isn't totally round, so part of what I'm going to have to do, I think, is see if I can straighten that out. Get the last of these exhaust manifold nuts off here, the studs. These have been soaking on and off for quite a while with penetrating oils. Wants to drip. I'll still never understand why people insist on cranking down oil drain plugs so tightly. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. There we go. Alright, let's shuffle this guy out of here. Alright, so things that kind of make you go, I don't understand. So somebody on this bike in the past has gone crazy with this wire covering. It's everywhere. It's on the fairing stay. It's absolutely everywhere. It's zip tied all over the place. You know, why would anybody put an exhaust system on where you can't get at the drain plug, because the drain plug is basically covered up by the collector here on the 4-into-1. And so Chris tells me that there's a difference. One of the several differences between the 89 H1 and the 1990 H2 is they have a different oil pan. And on the H1, this one, the drain plug is basically kind of bang in the center pretty much. And so that is not off an H1, that's off an H2, because the H1 had a 4-into-2-into-1, which allowed for access to the drain plug between the 2 sets of double pipes, so when it goes from 4 into 2. Well, I thought, well, geez, I'm almost certain that my next project H2 has a 4-into-2-into-1 on it. I wonder if I have a problem there with the drain plug access on that one. And maybe this whole problem with both bikes could be solved by just switching the pipes from that to that, and then putting those pipes on the... to the battery. Oh, look at that, it actually does work. All right, so here's another example of the butchery that goes on, and this always puzzles me. So here's the bolt that I removed that attaches this rear subframe to the main frame. So that's not the correct bolt. It should be like a cap head Allen bolt that goes in there. This one is obviously not a cap head Allen bolt, and it's too long. It should be about 25 millimeters, and this is far in excess of that. So far in excess that it has rubbed on the chain. It was a bit of a bugger to get it out, of course, because the threads were all galled up on the end. But I don't understand why that happens. Why does somebody put this in when they would have had to have taken this out at some point? Why wouldn't they put the original one back in? Yeah, I'm not sure which relay this is. I'll have to look it up, but it was zip tied to the side of the battery box here. But this looks like it's done more miles than the bike on the road. Look at the state of that. Yeah, so just it's off now. It's coming loose, but like, there's no need to torque these things to such ridiculous specifications. Like it's coming off now, but like follow the factory shop manual instructions and torque it to specification. You don't need Loctite. You just use the locking tab washer, and like it's not rocket science, folks. Some more stuff arrived for the ZX7. These are Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2s. The other thing I'm doing here is just gathering up some of the parts I need to take and get them sandblasted and head over to my buddy's place. I've got a little bit of work to do in my son's car. So at the same time I'm doing blasting on that, I'm gonna clean these parts up and get them painted. Lots of pieces, that's for sure. Okay, so I've got this is the new chain guard that goes on the front, which was missing. I've taken all the welding material off here, and that's where the new piece here, so it's in the bag, I don't really take it out right now, but yeah, there's a new piece that I cut there to go on here. I'll get welded on there. I'm just going to take this over to the place for the guy to weld it up, and also he's going to weld up these guys, rebuild those up. But the new bracket, I basically just cut it out of a piece of aluminum angle iron that I've got laying around here in the shop. Got a big huge chunk of it here. So these are the little fairing supports or outriggers that go, they attach to the main twin spar frame there, and the fairings attached to this stuff. And yeah, these are the ones that they've been chromed or something, and also they've been mangled. You can see that's supposed to be straight. This one still has a bit of a twist in it, so I'm going to try to just tweak it ever so slightly. Well, it's better than it was, I think. I take the chipping hammer to it, and it's not pretty, but I think a little bit of time with the grinder and it'll be better, I guess. All right, so I got all these sandblasted today and etch primed. So these are going to get a coat of Imron 3.5 Industrial Black. And that should look good, I think. All right, it's all nice and dry. Turned out pretty well. This Imron paint is pretty heavy duty stuff, so that should wear very well. Okay, tires are off, and so now I can set about cleaning all of this stuff. Still waiting for the swing arm to come back. It's been 4 or 5 days, so I'm hoping that I hear back from the place in the next couple of 3 days that that's finished and ready to pick up. So the swing arm is back from the welding shop 24 hours later. I am very happy that he was able to get this sorted out for me. So this is the new bracket that I had fabricated from a piece of aluminum angle iron, or if you're in the UK, aluminium. This one was kind of all worn down from the chain, so we kind of fixed that up. This was stripped out here, so we filled that, drilled it and retapped it for me. And then the other thing that was a problem is these two ears were basically cracked off halfway. So he built those back up. There was also a crack in the top part of this. So I decided to strip the inside of these wheels. I'm going to take off all of this green paint. You can see I've already started to put the paint remover on there. Getting these frame components, swing arm, wheels, the main twin spar frame here, all painted at the booth. I'm going to have to disassemble these guys and get these things cleaned up, because these are going to get painted as well. So it's going to be epoxy primer, silver base coat, and clear coat. And the clear coat is not going to be a gloss clear coat like I did the other ZX7. This is going to be a more accurate, I think, flat clear coat. So this is what I'm using. It's called 5-Star Extreme Stealth Clear Multi-Gloss. Okay, so we're at the paint booth. Everything has been set up. It's been blown off with the airline. It's been degreased and grease, wax remover, stuff, whatever. Got my wheel stands all set up, so it makes it easy to spin these guys and paint them. All right, epoxy is done. We'll give this an hour and a half now to dry off before we start shooting silver paint here. Okay, so there we've got the clear coat on. So again, this is the what they call the stealth clear, which is basically it goes on kind of wet, like obviously it would because it just came out of the paint gun, but it does dry to a matte finish depending on how much of the activator you put in. Yeah, I'm just trying to give you an idea here of the finish that I got on this with the flat clear coat. So I think generally speaking, it's really close to the factory finish. I think the color is probably a little more silver. I think the original factory finish was slightly more gray, but I think from from this project's perspective, it's going to be just fine. So what has to happen next is the bearings the races are gonna get knocked out of that steering head and replaced. But I think, I don't want to risk damaging fresh paint, green paint on those. So I probably will knock the bearings out of these and replace those before I do the green paint. And then that way I just mask up really well. So here on the engine, this is after kind of scrubbing it with a toothbrush and then using brake cleaner, parts cleaner to degrease the whole thing. And the only areas that I'm concerned about needing paint here at this point is this. This is a coolant transfer tube, I believe. That is kind of, you look in there, it's kind of rusty. That needs to be painted for sure. The rest of it, although there's still some grime and crap on here, I think most of that's going to clean up just fine when I get into polishing. When I say polishing, I mean just cleaner, like shining up the paint and whatnot. This obviously has to be painted because it was stripped before. I did clean up that rear shock absorber. It cleaned up pretty well. I still have to do a little bit more work on these linkages down here. They look pretty ratty still. All right, so there we go. Let's cam chain is nice and snug. Let's take a peek. See what I can see in here. Okay, so you can see how that starts to clean up. You get the idea. I'm just going to keep at this and then I'll bring you back in after I've gone through a couple more stages of the sanding. So this is what I use, auto sol, but you can use anything, whatever you, I mean, Eagle 1 makes a metal polish, Mothers makes metal polish, I'm sure Meguiar's make it. But there you go. You can see that I've polished here and down in there. All right, a little bit of clear coat. Here is my table of new parts or replacement parts. These I'm actually not sure I actually need for this bike. I think these may end up going on this one, but anyway. Throttle tube, because yeah, the one that was on it wasn't correct. I do have new grips. They haven't arrived yet. They've been ordered. This is the support for these infill panels. I've got one of those over there as well that's been repainted. Switch gear for the left and the right there. New foot pegs, chain guards. This is the license plate light cover and reflector that goes on that rear fender I just showed you over there. Where is it? Over there. What do we have in here? Oh, new gas cap for that tank. Front and rear turn signal lights. Carburetor rebuild kit from Light Tech. There's another carb kit there. We have fuel filters. Obviously I only need one of those. Brake pads, chain, exhaust gaskets and nuts. Oil filter, I only need one of those for this bike. New cop coil. Actually no, it's not a cop coil, it's just a plug cap. All right, so here's the new bearings and whatnot that are going to go on the triple clamp. That's the new seal that's on there. And before, so here's the thing. Before I put this bearing on here, obviously that goes kind of down this way, like that. Now what I've seen on other channels and other people do is they just kind of get a smear of grease like this, and they just kind of go like this, right? Once it's hammered down, they kind of go, okay, this is all the grease this bearing needs, and that's what they do. So let me show you how I pack a bearing, and then you can make your own decision from there. So the way to do it is there's a top side, which is the narrow side, just kind of more closed off. See there? That's the top of the bearing. And then on the bottom of the bearing, which is more open, you can see all the rollers in there. See that? Okay. This is the side that you want to pack the grease into. So the idea is you force the grease into this gap here, past all of the roller bearings until the grease emerges out of this smaller gap at the top. Rubber glove, grease gun. I pump myself a bunch of grease into the palm of my hand, and then you take the bearing and you basically start forcing the grease into that gap using the palm of your hand, and you rotate the bearing, keep going, and of course a lot of it ends up in the middle, so you got to kind of bring it back out, put it back in the palm of your hand again, and then just keep going. If you run out of grease, pump some more into the palm of your hand and just keep at it. Eventually, so you can see there already, all right, get in shot. There you go. See how it's coming out of the top here by my finger? I'm pointing at it right there. That's what you want all the way around, is for that grease to be coming out of the top of that bearing like that. Back off again. So we'll get those things lowered in. There we go, they are back out of the ultrasonic cleaner. So I'll dry these off. I'll probably throw some compressed air through them. Everything looks dry. There's no staining on the shop towel or anything, so I think we're okay for now. All right, so new bearing. I'm just using this driver as a bit of a spacer. That way I can be sure that it gets pressure in the right place as I'm inserting this. These presses are wonderful things to have. All right, all the bolts are loosened, so the next step is really just removing these cam caps, I guess. Keep an eye out for, just in case there's any kind of O-rings, or if there is. So I measured everything with that, got these measurements, converted those to millimeters as my current shim size, did my calculations, and then I came up with what's in red as the target shim size. And of course, you don't have everything to choose from in the shim, so I've gotten the closest ones. I've marked, so there is no 244, it's a 245. Okay, so there's the plunger. You wind that basically clockwise, and then you kind of stick it into the little slots like I said. So could really use a new chain slider, but this one isn't too bad. I don't want to damage any more threads. Okay, we've got the base coat of green on here. A couple of coats. All right, there we go. 2 coats of clear. It came out really nice. Really nice. It laid down perfect. Nice and glossy. I could not be happier with that. Okay, I've started disassembling the forks, and in the usual manner, disassembly is pretty easy so far with these. So there we are. It's satisfactory for my needs. Should work just fine. So there they are with the clear coat. They look pretty good, I think. All right, so there are the forks, new seals and whatnot installed in there. So earlier video out there of me pulling some of the dents out of this replacement tank. I can check that out, and I've got them all out as far as I can get them, and I'm happy that I haven't got any crowns or anything I'm dealing with in the sort of crowns being raised sections of steel, and any imperfections that are still here are just small dimples that I can easily fill. Okay, so I got some filler on here. I'll let that dry, and then we'll go at it with some sandpaper. All right, so that's about 40 minutes of peeling and stripping and whatnot, so a little bit left to go. Just kind of quick checkpoint here. Basically just trying to make sure I can get off the majority of the old paint off these side panels. Okay, front calipers. Figure if I'm going to throw these in the ultrasonic cleaner and get these ready, it just makes sense to do everything at the same time. So what I've done is I've just mounted the brake lever and master cylinder in the vise just gently. I've got a rag in here to protect it, so I could still basically use this to pump out these pistons. All right, so the calipers have all been cleaned and sanded and taped off. I've got all of the various threads. They're all plugged with silicone plugs or foam ear plugs or what have you. So just putting a coat of etching primer on these. All right, with the final coat of clear on these, we're going to let those dry for a while. And then once I can set those aside, I'm going to turn my attention to the pistons. So there's the front calipers back together, and as I've said, still waiting for the caliper kit to arrive for the rears. Okay, so I got 2 coats on some of these panels and 1 coat on the last 2, so I'm going to put one more coat on those. Okay, so everything's ready to go to the paint booth. All right, so the first coat of white is on. All right, it is 1 p.m. and everything is masked up to paint the dark blue. So yeah, the masking process just takes forever. Okay, 2 coats of dark blue done. And Yeah, this so when you're peeling this stuff off, you want to kind of go completely against the, and again, son of a bitch, see that? God damn it. So it is 20 past 3 p.m. I'm just finished masking off for spraying the green. Now I'm just tacking off the panels. It is looking pretty damn good. Exciting stuff peeling this tape off. It's exciting, but it's a little nerve-wracking as well. So it's just before 6 p.m. 2 coats of clear on everything. And all in all, everything has turned out pretty darn well. So I do have one minor thing that I've noticed, but I didn't even see it till the clear went on. And there's a very slight blue haze right here. You can see where that blue came from the underside and got under the paper and just lightly dusted it. So shouldn't be too difficult to kind of blow that back in a little bit and fix that up. So everything's back home here, and yeah, I'm happy with the way everything came out. It's quite good. No real concerns or complaints. A couple of small little touch-ups, as I said, I can do because both of these have to get sanded, wet sanded, before, and get cleared again anyway, because when I put the Kawasaki decals on there. Okay, so the tires are mounted, the brake rotors are back on. The only thing left to do is stick the push drive in on the other side, which I will do before it gets mounted back in the swing arm. And the next thing I'm going to do is going to be getting this tank prepped for decals. Alright, got my clear coat on here, and I buggered up my tank. There's some pretty bad runs right here just on this side, so once that's dried off for a while I'll have to sand and buff that. Yeah, I've been very excited, looking forward to putting this on here. All right, so the saga continues with Arnold Schwarzenegger's motorcycle. Obviously, when he went to the gym one time, he came back and worked on the carburetors because, as with every other freaking fastener on this bike, there's a snapped off bolt in there. So I got my chain on here, and basically I'm just using this this chain breaker kit. It's a chain breaker, but it also has these little anvils for pinching the links together. So there's the kind of the rear end all sorted out. I'm just using the end of this wrench to start to remove the flat spot here. I'm heating everything up with this butane torch, so in hopes that I don't crack anything. So here's the other one. This is the bottom. So here's a handy dandy little tool for getting in here and straightening these things out. You can kind of pound it in once you've heated this up, and then you can use it as a buck and then kind of tap around the outside here to form it against this thing. So yeah, it works pretty well. And where did I get it? I stole it from the kitchen. This is what we use to wash our dishes, or well, we used to use it to wash our dishes. Just gonna test the fan here, make sure it works. All good. The rear fender's on, the tail light is on, and the hugger and the rear fender look like a strange combination on this bike. I gotta be honest. Put the battery back in. I've just been going around connecting up wires. Fuel pump is back in. The switch gear is on. Clutch is on. I haven't wired up. I haven't attached the clutch slave yet. So I've got the 89 pipes here, and they're kind of, I believe they're stainless steel, but they're quite aged, and the finish has kind of gone really dark. I've got some 3M Scotch-Brite type of pad with WD-40, so I'm just kind of going over it. It's starting to bring the tarnishing off. All right, so there's the correct headers are in there now. All right, let's spin on a new oil filter here. Okay, I've got the booster pack hooked up here, and just checking that everything cranks over and that I've got spark now that it's all back together. I did get my oil light to go out, so that's what I wanted. Okay, so I got a good lever now. Brake pressure. Decal time. So first job is cleaning all the panels with isopropyl alcohol. That's been done.
Then I basically trimmed off all of the decals, so I don't have any extraneous bits of the backing or the release tape. Just kind of cut around the edges as close as makes sense to do so. And yeah, let's get started. All right, so there she is, right next to the 1990. Well, they make a good looking pair. All right, well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, another view, more condensed view, obviously, of how I got that thing back to a more reasonable state from what it started in. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you in the next video.